It was supposed to be a normal day on set. Lights, cameras, and the familiar rhythm of shooting a new scene. But something unexpected changed the air instantly. Jerry Yan's ex, someone from years past who had stayed mostly out of the spotlight, was spotted near the studio, and suddenly, everything shifted. Tong Liya, always composed and professional, noticed first. The cameras weren't rolling, the crew wasn't paying attention, yet she sensed it. There was a subtle tension, a slight hesitation in Jerry's usual confident stride. People around them might not have understood what was happening, but fans and insiders knew. The presence of someone from the past can stir emotions that even the most experienced actors struggle to hide. For Tong Liya, this wasn't about jealousy or drama. It was about respect, boundaries, and understanding what this meant for her partnership with Jerry. But as news of the appearance leaked online, fan speculation began immediately. Was this a coincidence? Was it intentional? And most importantly, how did it affect the growing trust and chemistry between Tong Liya and Jerry Yan, which had been the foundation of their on-screen magic? Despite the sudden tension, Tong Liya maintained her professionalism. She engaged with the crew, delivered her lines flawlessly, and kept her composure in front of the cameras. Jerry, too, maintained an air of calm, but subtle gestures didn't go unnoticed. A brief glance, a slight pause, a hand hovering just a bit closer to hers during a scene. These small signals told fans everything they needed to know. There was history here, yes, but there was also clarity and care for the present. The gossip mill exploded online. Social media platforms buzzed with screenshots, rumors, and theories. Some fans speculated about the intentions of Jerry's ex. Others dissected every frame of Tong Liya's expressions. Was there tension, awkwardness, or even subtle hints of protectiveness? Fans couldn't get enough. The situation, while delicate, gave everyone a glimpse into the private side of public figures, the way past relationships can intersect with present commitments, and the strength required to navigate them gracefully. Behind the scenes, those close to the actors described a different picture. Jerry and Tong had spoken privately before the filming began, discussing boundaries, expectations, and how to handle any potential disruptions. The appearance of someone from Jerry's past wasn't a shock. It was a reminder of the careful planning and mutual understanding that went into maintaining professionalism. Yet even with preparation, emotions are rarely predictable. Small gestures, pauses, and fleeting expressions can reveal more than words ever could. Fans began to notice how Tong Liya responded in public appearances afterward. She smiled, engaged warmly, and maintained her confident presence. There was no public confrontation, no dramatic commentary. Yet there was a quiet, almost imperceptible assertion of her place, not in a possessive way, but as someone who belonged alongside Jerry Yan, respected, trusted, and unshaken by external pressures. Meanwhile, Jerry Yan continued to navigate the situation with maturity. There was no overreaction, no unnecessary display. Every movement, every glance, was measured, subtle, and careful. Fans who followed both actors noted that his calmness wasn't indifference. It was a sign of respect, both for his current partner and for the complex dynamics of relationships that exist in the public eye. As news and speculation grew online, Tong Liya and Jerry Yan became the focus of countless discussions. Every minor detail, from how they positioned themselves on set to the timing of their interactions, was analyzed. Some fans were protective, praising their composure and professionalism. Others were curious, dissecting potential signals or wondering if there was more to the story. But amidst all the noise, one thing became clear: their bond was stronger than the whispers of the past. The ex's presence, rather than creating drama, highlighted something fans had long admired: their ability to navigate complex situations with grace. Tong Liya's poise and Jerry Yan's calmness weren't just performances, they were reflections of a partnership built on mutual respect. Even when unexpected challenges arose, they adapted seamlessly, demonstrating trust, communication, and subtle emotional intelligence. In interviews following the incident, both actors remained tactful. Tong Liya focused on her craft and professionalism, speaking generally about maintaining boundaries and respect in all relationships. Jerry Yan discussed the importance of focus and preparation, acknowledging that past relationships can leave echoes but emphasizing that the present is what truly matters. Their statements, carefully worded, reinforced the notion that personal history may intersect with current life, but it doesn't define it. Fans responded positively. Comments flooded social media expressing admiration not for the drama itself, but for how they handled it. Many highlighted that it was refreshing to see celebrities navigate complex interpersonal situations without resorting to scandal or public outbursts. Instead, there was authenticity, maturity, and subtle reassurance that their connection was grounded in trust and understanding. Over time, the story became less about the ex and more about what it revealed, the strength of Yan and Tong Liya's professional and personal bond. Their ability to maintain composure, respect boundaries, and communicate effectively became the central narrative. Fans began to celebrate their partnership, noting that while the past may appear unexpectedly, the present can remain secure when trust and care are prioritized. As filming continued, moments that might have been overshadowed by speculation became highlights of their teamwork. Shared glances, mutual support on challenging scenes, and quiet gestures that conveyed reassurance were celebrated by fans. Every minor detail, from adjusting costumes for each other to providing encouraging words off camera, was magnified as proof of their strong, respectful connection. By the end of the filming cycle, the incident that had sparked so much buzz was no longer seen as a source of tension. Instead, it became a reminder of the professionalism and emotional maturity that both Yan and Tong Liya bring to their work. Fans continued to follow their journey, but now with admiration for the grace with which they handled unexpected circumstances. The lesson resonated, even when the past returns in unexpected ways, the present, when approached with care, respect, and trust, remains unshaken. Yan and Tong Liya showed the world that relationships, professionalism, and emotional intelligence can coexist, even under the watchful eyes of millions. And for fans, that was more than enough reason to continue celebrating their partnership on screen and off with admiration, respect, and unwavering support. As the days passed after that unexpected appearance, the energy around Yan and Tong Liya subtly shifted. The initial shock of seeing someone from Jerry's past had faded, but the ripple effects lingered, not in the form of scandal, but in quiet curiosity. Fans who had watched closely began noticing a pattern, small yet meaningful. How Tong Liya would lightly laugh at an off-camera joke Jerry made, or the way Jerry would subtly check in during breaks, ensuring she was comfortable. These were not dramatic gestures, they were unspoken signals, a kind of reassurance that only those who truly cared could notice. The production team also began to see the shift. Scenes that had previously been filled with tension now flowed more smoothly. Jerry and Tong had developed an almost unspoken understanding of each other's rhythm, creating moments of authenticity that even the cameras seemed to capture naturally. Extras and crew members whispered to each other, remarking that something had changed. There was less stress, more focus, a certain calm that permeated the set. And it all stemmed from how both actors chose to handle a potentially uncomfortable situation with grace. Social media remained alive with discussion. Fans dissected moments from clips and photos, brief touches of the hand, supportive glances, small smiles shared across the set. Unlike past controversies that often led to speculation and criticism, this time, the response was overwhelmingly positive. People praised them not for creating drama, but for demonstrating maturity, trust, and respect. Memes, threads, and fan edits spread, highlighting moments that showed subtle teamwork and connection, and fans celebrated these not as romantic proof, but as evidence of a strong partnership and genuine friendship. Off-set, Jerry and Tong were spotted maintaining their routines, always professional but visibly relaxed. They arrived for rehearsals with confidence, prepared and composed. Neither avoided each other, nor did they seek to amplify the situation. Their focus was on their work, yet everything they did conveyed a silent message. The past may exist, but it would not interfere with the present. Observers, from staff to fans, began to understand that their bond was rooted in respect, patience, and mutual understanding, qualities far more meaningful than sensational headlines or viral rumors. As interviews rolled out in the following weeks, both actors emphasized their commitment to professionalism and the craft of acting. Tong Liya spoke about the importance of focusing on the present and respecting all relationships, while Yan reflected on how past experiences shape maturity without dictating current choices. Their words were carefully measured, and yet their delivery carried warmth and authenticity, reinforcing what fans had already observed in their behavior, that the connection between them was built on something real, resilient, and enduring. This subtle narrative resonated deeply with their audience. Fans expressed relief and admiration, noting that it was refreshing to witness celebrities navigate personal complexities without theatrics. They began sharing their own experiences of handling past relationships or unexpected challenges with grace, drawing inspiration from Jerry and Tong's example. Slowly, the story transformed from a fleeting moment of tension to a lasting lesson in composure, empathy, and the quiet strength of emotional intelligence. By the end of the filming schedule, the incident with Jerry's ex was remembered not for the initial disruption it caused, but for how it highlighted the depth of Jerry Yan and Tong Liya's professional and personal integrity. Their ability to remain composed, trust one another, and maintain focus while the world watched became a defining moment in their partnership. Fans continued to celebrate their journey, not just for the performances on screen, but for the grace with which they navigated life's unexpected interruptions, proving that the strongest connections are those built on understanding, trust, and quiet resilience. As the filming wrapped up, something remarkable became clear. The incident with Jerry Yan's ex hadn't weakened their bond. It had strengthened it in subtle, undeniable ways. On set, their interactions carried a newfound ease, a quiet confidence that suggested trust wasn't just spoken, it was lived. Every shared glance or laugh had a depth to it, a sense that they could navigate challenges together without losing focus or composure. Even outside the cameras, fans noticed. Photos of Tong Liya arriving at the studio early to help coordinate props, or Jerry Yan staying back to review lines, circulated online, and comments poured in praising their professionalism. But beyond that, fans were noticing small gestures between them. The way Tong would briefly glance to ensure Jerry was ready before a take, or how Jerry would subtly adjust his position so she had space during a crowded scene. It wasn't overtly romantic, it wasn't meant to be, but to attentive fans, it spoke volumes. Social media conversations evolved. The speculation about Jerry's past gave way to admiration for how both stars handled themselves. Memes and edits shifted tone. Instead of focusing on tension or drama, they highlighted teamwork, respect, and the silent understanding between the two. Fans commented that the way Jerry and Tong moved through that challenging moment felt like a masterclass in emotional maturity and professionalism. Inside the industry, colleagues took note as well. Directors and crew who had worked with many actors remarked on the rare chemistry and mutual respect they observed. Even when unexpected situations arose, a sudden schedule change, a new scene rewrite, Jerry and Tong adapted effortlessly. Their calm, focused presence became an anchor for the entire set, influencing how others interacted and creating a positive, cooperative environment. Through interviews and public appearances after filming, both stars reinforced the message fans had already picked up on. Tong Liya spoke candidly about the importance of trust and communication in both professional and personal relationships, emphasizing that understanding and patience are key to navigating challenges. Jerry Yan echoed these sentiments, highlighting that respect for one another and for past experiences helps to maintain stability in the present. Their statements were deliberate, yet heartfelt, showing that maturity and authenticity guided their actions as much as talent did. Fans, journalists, and commentators began to frame the story differently. No longer was it about the ex or past relationships, it was about resilience, partnership, and the quiet power of handling life with grace. Social media threads were filled with praise for how Jerry and Tong had turned what could have been a sensational scandal into an example of poise and professionalism. Comments ranged from "this is how true partnerships work" to "they didn't just survive the moment, they thrived in it." Even weeks later, clips from the set were still being shared and discussed. Every small interaction, an exchanged smile, a nod, a subtle reassurance, was dissected, celebrated, and appreciated. Fans noted that these were the kinds of moments that define careers, not scandals. They were proof that authenticity, trust, and mutual respect resonate far more than controversy ever could. Ultimately, the story of Jerry Yan and Tong Liya's encounter with the past became a testament to their character.